Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you're on the lifeboat. How are you people? I hope you're having a heck of a Sunday. Let's see what we got going on around here. Let's see who we got, shall we? Ashley, how are you? Diddy, damn right he did. Don Shire, Bernard, Rona Cooley, Rosanna Dana, Karma Chameleon, Chameleon. Says like and subscribe. It's good advice. You'll thank us later. Roshina Shinsky. Well, good to see you. Glad you're here. Jenna Louise Ruby. Lisa Trimble is here. Diane, how are you? Jane Aldrich is here. Joan Helsinki. Galen, how are you? Bayou Babe, good to see you. Tractor. Carol Barnhart. Marmalade Atkins. There is the Johnny Scoville. Deadhead, how are you? Sid Green, good to see you. Good to see you. Anka. Good to see you. Me and my cat. Casey, how are you? Casey hooked me up this morning. The Arabian Bard. Casey has some watch connects. Been looking for that watch for so long. I really have. That was one of those watches that you see it all the time. I don't know if you guys are into watches or not, but you see it all the time in what they call a panda. This was a reverse panda, and you don't see it nearly as often in that configuration, and I got all kinds of excited. Arabian Bard, good to see you. Deanna Downey, Kim, what's happening? Joanne Shepard, Laura Lee Smith, True Crime Nut, Marie Duffy, Miss Marcy is here. Jamie Smith, Lily Benjamin, Tony Hoban. So this one is a little bit of a bummer. We've talked about this. And I've been saying that I wanted to look more closely at the Brittany Murphy thing. It's painful, isn't it? She was such a talent. Jordan, good to see you. Hey, Missy Ann. Craig, what's happening? It's 10 degrees Celsius warmer today, up to a negative 20. Well, it's downright balmy. I hope you're outside enjoying this temperate weather you've got there, Craig. Boston Empath. Happy Sunday to you too. So if you guys remember Brittany Murphy, she was lovely, wasn't she? She got, I think the first film that I remember her from was Clueless. Do you remember this film? She played a really cute part in that film. Live long and prosper from a really big Star Trek fan. Actually, the reason I gave this a chance in the beginning was because I saw the Kirk shirt. Well, you know what? It's the ace in the hole. It really is. It's the ace in the hole. What would be a good starter watch for a interested beginner? You know what? That is such a... Here's the thing with watches. Just get something that has a movement. It has a mechanical movement, like a beating heart. And that's, it doesn't much matter how you start that process off, as long as you get something that doesn't have a battery driving it. Not that there's anything wrong with battery watches, but if you're trying to get in to the collecting thing, you're probably going to want to get one that has a mechanical movement. Thank you, Arabian Bard. 8 months. Can you believe that? You remember her from 8 Mile, says Laura Lee. Yeah. And Bayou Babe says, Brittany was so beautiful. Her death has been suspicious to me. I think a lot of people felt the same way. I had forgotten about 8 Mile until you just said that. But yeah, that came out shortly thereafter. And there was kind of a metamorphosis. When we first saw her, she was, I don't know, almost kind of like, she played sort of a gawky kind of a character. You know what I mean? She was, before she sort of blossomed, then I don't know. Such a sad case. 32 years of age. Now, depending on who you believe in this thing, there's a lot of really strange stuff involving Brittany and her passing. Now, wow, did I put too much sugar in that this time? Hello. All right, so one of the problems with this, she dated Ashton Kutcher. You guys know Ashton Kutcher. I'm a fan. I don't know whether or not I've mentioned that on here, but me and Ashton Kutcher, I'm a fan, Probably's got a lot to do with the fact that he was super close with that Danny Masterson fella, who was also just a real ace. You know what I mean? Just another real ace. These are guys that think that chemicals are used to talk people into doing things that normally they wouldn't do. Bad people. Judy Jetson, good to see you. Hey, Greg Trindall. Kim. The thing with this case, right? Hello, Joanne. The Chrissy Never Newton, good to see you. This is one of those things. You're way out of the loop on this one, Kim. Well, then I'm going to bring you up to speed. So here's what happened. I'll tell you what the world thinks is going on, and I'll tell you what other people think is going on. When Brittany Murphy was 32 years of age, she was living in Hollywood, out in LA with her husband at the time, an older gentleman that his name is Simon Monjack, and he's kind of a weird character. A lot of her friends, a lot of the people that she was close with, thought that this guy was super, super suspicious. Everything about this Monjack cat was kind of uncomfortable. And, he had a bit of a criminal record. Now, that, I don't know. I don't think that always necessarily means you're the world's biggest dirtbag. Just a lot of the time it does. And to be honest, this guy looks bad on paper. Gene Thornton, good to see you. Emma Fenn, you're a bit late. Well, we're going to let it slide this time. Hey, Jarhead, good to see you. Steve, good to see you, Steve. Good to see you. John Newby, I'm glad that you're here. Sorry. Terrible. I got this heating pad on me that's almost like full time. Not literally, but when I'm sitting in this chair, it is. So Brittany Murphy is the actress's name. Brittany Murphy. She was very popular in the 90s. She went out with Ashton Kutcher for a while. She had some reported problems with the Bolivian marching powder. She had some drug use in her life. And then she marries this guy, Simon Monjack, who apparently had blown through an inheritance and was kind of a creep. He's been arrested for credit card fraud. What else? Theft. Been evicted out of the last 4 or 5 houses that he had lived in, and there was a judgment against him in a business deal in Europe to the tune of about £500,000. Now, I was told there'd be no math, but that's a crap load of cash. It's certainly enough to buy a really nice house or a decent Italian sports car. Now, this guy, Monjack, somehow, he's considerably older than her. And a lot of people say that there was sort of this kind of Svengali thing going on between he and Brittany. And he kind of got her a little bit paranoid. And this is alleged now, people. Don't jump on me about this. But they said that he was a very controlling cat. Kind of used her insecurities already vis-a-vis the Hollywood machine. Felt like she wasn't really getting a shot at really being the star that she could be. He believed her to be a fantastic singer, dancer, actress, all the above, and that she really wasn't getting her proper shot in Hollywood. Now, there is a big conspiracy theory having to do with the fact that she was very creeped out by what was going on in the Diddyverse, right? This is why she keeps getting brought back up. And I'll tell you something, there is a HBO special coming out. And the HBO special is Brittany Murphy, What Happened? This is going to be fairly interesting. There's some parallels between this case of the actress Brittany Murphy and of Kim Porter. First of all, their autopsies were done by the same bloke. Odd, no? Their autopsies were done by the same person. Kind of odd. Also, when the autopsy was done on Brittany Murphy, oddly, her husband, this Simon, what's his last name again? It's got an odd name. Monjack. So Simon Monjack doesn't want her to get a autopsy. In fact, he's pissed off about it. He starts calling the coroner left and right, unsuccessfully, by the way. But they roll out this initial inquiry, and she, according to the autopsy, she died of pneumonia, right? Now, that pneumonia was exacerbated by taking a lot of prescription and over-the-counter medications, apparently trying to beat the symptoms that were brought on by this pneumonia. However, there's a lot of stuff that didn't come up in the autopsy, and her father, Angelo Bertoli, this is Bertolotti, pardon me, Angelo Bertolotti. This is Brittany Murphy's dad. He hires his own team because he thinks it's BS. And they find some heavy metals, a ton of them, right? 10 different heavy metals in concentrations in her body that are considerably higher than what would be considered normal. One of these in particular, barium, is often found in like rat poison and things of that. This becomes a recurring theme in people around Diddy. Right? These people who die of this pneumonia, right? This pneumonia that's brought on by poisoning. Allegedly, a bunch of people in the Diddy universe passed away this way. Now, Monjack, her husband, comes out and says, I don't want the autopsy. They get it anyway. Funny thing happens. Not funny, haha. Funny what the actual, you know what. 5 months after Brittany Murphy dies of pneumonia with anemia, right? And complications of prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs, right? Her husband dies of the exact same thing. Literally the exact same thing. Pneumonia with anemia. Plus prescription and over-the-counter meds. He died of virtually the exact same thing that she died of. Weird, huh? Now, honestly, over the course of a lifetime, 2 people that die of that is just bizarre anyway. Now, there was a big hubbub that it was alleged that this is caused by mold. The house that they lived in Hollywood that they bought from a different Britney Spears, believe it or not. Britney Spears was the previous owner of the house. And they were alleging that there was this black mold in the house. Now, that black mold can cause people to go paranoid. And toward the end of Monjack's life, this guy was saying some really odd stuff. Now, it sounds a lot less odd in light of all of the things that are going on with Diddy, but he was very convinced that there was an Illuminati that was running Hollywood. Miss Dragon, good to see you. There was an Illuminati running Hollywood. He was very vocal about this towards the end of his time on planet Earth. This Monjack fella. Hold on, people. Now, allegedly, Monjack was telling Brittany that no matter what happened, she needed to try to avoid going to doctors and getting all kinds of prescriptions. Odd, because when he passed, there were 90 different pill bottles in his home. 90. Now, that black mold that everybody was saying was the cause of Brittany Murphy's death. This is a conspiracy theory that has no legs. It's a very easy thing to tell. If someone was breathing in black mold, then there would have been mold spores in the blood. There would have been mold spores in the lungs. There was none of that in her autopsy, right? So that's BS. Just nothing to that. But Monjack and Brittany died within 5 months of one another of the exact same thing that killed Kim Porter. Does that smell right to any of you? You know what? See, listen, this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to get this on the channels with a audience that isn't as quick on the uptake. You're just going to miss out on stuff like this. Iron Maiden and Judas Priest are to blame when heavy metal is present. I agree. Although there are a couple of other bands that probably could have thrown in there as well. Correct. I live in a house with black mold and ended up on a puffer and throwing all of my stuff out, etc. So it wasn't black mold. Kim, yeah, it's dangerous stuff, right? But it's definitely not what happened to Brittany Murphy. What happened to Brittany Murphy? I don't know that we're ever going to know. Here's what I find nuts as in right, crazy nuts. The 10 heavy metals that they have in the body, they don't want to reopen the case, and there are two factions arguing in this. One is saying, of course you should reopen the case. And why was it that they didn't find these heavy metals in the first time they did this? There's something seriously wrong with that. Well, the other side is saying, well, she dyes her hair a lot. It's you bury it is something you probably get in your hair if you dye your hair a lot. Look, I don't know a whole lot about this type of thing, but it really, that smells bad to me. You got 10 different types of heavy metal poisons that are appearing in your hair follicles or your hair test. And they say it's, because, she dyed her hair quite a bit. That just sounds like absolute BS to me. It really does. Brittany's death made sense instantly when for so long it was a mystery that irked me because I'm a med professor. Oh, okay. After the Diddy stuff came out. Yeah, I'm a little... I think that the more we look at this cat's life, right, the more we see the tentacles and how far these go out, we're going to see a lot more things that don't make any sense. This is a big one to me. I think it really is. It's a big one. I don't understand how, as a society, we don't go. One person is what, 32? The other's in their 50s, and they died of the exact same kind of pneumonia. I mean, exact same kind of pneumonia within 5 months of one another. Gee, that's peculiar, isn't it? I mean, 32-year-olds don't die of pneumonia. It just seems very odd. And then what was Kim Porter, 42? Is that right? Somebody correct me on that. Maybe she was 48. I don't remember what Kim Porter was. She was too young to damn die that way. Sharon Clark says she's tripped out. She's 56 and have dyed her hair since she was 14. We're going to need to get a test on you, Sharon. We're going to need to check that out, and we're going to need to find out if you're if we've got Iron Maiden, present in the follicle, you know what I'm saying. Don't mess with me, people. Pneumonia is known to kill older people who can't fight it. That's exactly right. And do you know why? Because it is usually when we are at our weakened immune system. Same reason why old people tend to pass from the big C, right? Cancer doesn't affect you as much when you're younger because your body can fight off the cells as they start to. But as you get older, all of that stuff starts to, you're susceptible to everything because you have a very compromised immune system. Well, this is what happens, allegedly, when the diddler hits you up with the heavy metals or whatever he's poisoning people with. I'm not saying that he's poisoning people. Everyone else is saying that. I'm just reporting it. Allegedly. Allegedly, Kim Porter passed from, what do they call it, lobar pneumonia, right? Jamie Foxx almost went from pneumonia. Right? Is there a pattern? It's starting to look like a pattern. Seriously, rip off the top of your head. How many people do you know who passed away from pneumonia? After allowing gifts, the algorithm supposedly randomly assigns gifts. I think it has ignored me lately because I have not been in a position to continue any gifted memberships by paying. In Carnosol, I hope that is not the case. I really hope that is not the case in Carnosol. Pneumonia also is known to kill those in active alcoholism and drug addiction. Again, for the same reason, yeah? Again, I think for the same reason. You're looking at a very compromised immune system. I know that when I was doing, I was on intravenous drugs for a long time, and it absolutely decimates your ability to fight anything. If you get, if you get any kind of an infection or anything like that, you're in deep trouble. If hair dye was that lethal, every hairstylist in the nation would be wearing a gas mask every day. You make a good point, Lily. You make a good point. Kim, you know what? I think Kim may get the, this is the comment of the day so far right here. Because that's what this is, man. That's what this is. Yeah, and Carnosol says going after Jamie Foxx is seriously ballsy. No restraint when it comes to victims. Well, and you know something? So Jamie Foxx this is what allegedly happened with Jamie Foxx. He was poisoned. He said that he asked for an Advil and he woke up, I can't remember how much later, but it was a frightening amount of time. He woke up 50 some odd, 70 days later or something like that. Craig says, I had pneumonia twice in my teens. I now have a lot of questions from my parents. Let's get him on the phone. Spanks, let's call Craig's parents. Let's do this live. We'll do it live. Sorry. The Arabian Bard is turning people green. Those puppies are flying out like hot sauce packets. That's right. Charlie Muffins. Good to see you, Charlie. They're throwing out like hot sauce packets down at Taco Bell. Are you familiar with the Bell? Taco Bell. Ignore bacterial bronchitis for long enough and pneumonia will set in. I believe that. I don't think that's the case that we're looking at here. I think what we're looking at here again and again is they're using poisons to compromise people's immune systems to the point where they pass from something else. Now, let's see who else. Didn't Al B. Shore almost check off of planet Earth as well? I don't know. Yes, thank you, Arwa. Johnny Scoble says, piss Diddy off long enough and pneumonia will also set in. And I think you're on to something. I think you are on to something. That could be it right there. Very sophisticated for the diddler. Well, here's the deal. Chemical warfare is part of this guy's MO. Am I wrong? Think about this for a second. How did he build his business? Allegedly, yeah. If the federal government is right, then he built his business. Hey, hello, Nicole. He built his business by using chemicals to render people unable to say no. Then he videotapes these people in compromising situations, right? Getting the egg test done. Yee! The egg test. You're familiar with the egg test, aren't you? If you're not, you'll thank me for not making you familiar with the egg test. Diddley did so much with impunity for so long, he will have the shock of his life when it's going to catch up to him for real. I'll tell you something. That is happening as we speak. I promise you, it's happening as we speak. By the way, let's knock one out real quick while we got 250 people hanging out. We're friends. Hello, Monica Larimore. Melinda, good to see you. Uptown Girls, and don't say where my Uptown Girls. On the Diddy thing, you're going to see a lot of thumbnails, and I said this yesterday, right? They got to come up with stuff to get paid on, right? The Diddy cases, they got to come up with stuff to get paid on. You're going to see a lot of stuff talking about all of the different stuff that he's getting behind bars that no one else is getting, right? I counted 4 thumbnails today about these. He's doing big stuff behind bars. People, he's living like nobody else is living. His cash is letting him live up. Don't believe any of it, man. I promise you it's BS. I promise you it's BS. Hey, Hope Garden, I love that. It says, Tommy, you bring so much love and hope to so many, and I respect all of your journey in life, your family to me. I love that. I really do. Oh, it was a Brittany Murphy movie called Uptown Girls? I had no idea. It's also a great tune. Come on, it is. It's a good tune. It's Billy Joel. Leanne, new member, looking good in green. Don't you think everybody looks better in green? I think so. I had no idea Brittany Murphy did a movie called Uptown Girls. It seems like toward the end, didn't it almost seem like everything she was doing was almost straight to video? She did that movie with the nozzle. What's his name? Ashton Kutcher. European honeymoon? That doesn't sound right. Yeah, it doesn't sound right. But she did a movie with him. Not a fan of Jaguar Wright, says Deanna Downey. Well, on the bright side, she's not been invited here today. I'm kidding. I don't mind. I don't mind Jag. I understand why you're saying that. I do. I know that people got really bummed out with what happened with Jaguar over there the other day. Anka, that is, I want to tell you something. That is really high praise, just in case. by some chance Emily D. Baker ever comes across this clip, that is really high praise. I'm telling you that right now. I'm blown away because I think Emily D. Baker is the top of the food chain when it comes to true crime. She is as good as they get. I love watching Emily D. Baker. Whenever I have time, and I watch everybody on double speed, but she requires, especially if she's just reading the court docs, that's one thing. But if she's using her dome, I got to listen to her slower because she's really intelligent, and my brain doesn't always keep up with her. But I'm a huge fan of Emily D. Baker. Yeah, you know something? I think, hello, Renee B. I think that we're going to see a lot in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think we're going to start seeing names pop out. That's all right. You can come back and yell at me if I'm wrong. Sorry about that. We're closing in on the month of December pretty rapidly. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you what happens here in the month of December. By the 31st of this month, they've got to be done handing over all of the discovery. Yeah, Sid Green. This is actually somebody else sent me an email all about this. Had the Novichok poisoning here where I live in the UK. That was sprayed on a door handle of the targets. Spooky and easy. Yeah, and you remember the guy that got stuck with the umbrella? Creepy. Live court is always better with Emily D. Baker. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And, well, that is Anka. Again, that is high praise. I really do appreciate that. And for an attorney, for me to like a channel that's an attorney, especially a woman, that's a stretch. I have a bit of a hangover from female attorneys. I accidentally married one once. The legal calendar is short. Massive data dump on the defense, right? That's what I'm saying, man. This is about to get really real, really quick. Now that we pretty much have everybody here, let's go over this Brittany Murphy thing really quickly. Why are we talking about it? Well, we're talking about it for a number of reasons. One is it's a great conspiracy theory. It really is. But number two, HBO is about to come out with a special on this. And this is based on some science. And this is based on some people taking a good look at this and saying, you know what? It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense that two people die of the exact same pneumonia living in the same house. And they have eliminated that house, right? It's not a mold thing. There was nothing in the blood on either autopsy to make anybody believe that it was mold related. By the way, at the same time, Ms. Monjack, this would be, what's his name's mom? Simon Monjack's mother was living at the house. This is a large house, like 10,000 square feet or something. But they were all living there. One would think that the oldest person in the house would be the most vulnerable of something like a black mold. However, we're just talking to talk because there is no black mold. I mean, if there is, it certainly didn't have anything to do with the death of either of these individuals. But something did, right? How is it that we're just letting that ride? If it wasn't for people on the internet, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about real people on the internet who are screaming about this, right? Then all of these things kind of come to light because of people like us now. I'm sorry, Brittany's mom. You're right, Arwen. Thank you. You're right. Thank you. Arwen Artie. There was nothing found in the house. It has to be either environmental or poison, says Corn Pope. Corn Pope? I love that name. I love that name. What was I thinking? Why am I getting a weird Corn Pop? That's why. I was thinking of our old Corn Pop. He carried 2 straight razors, kept them in a rain barrel. Come on, people. Everybody knows Corn Pop. He was a bad man. Sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Arwen Hardy. It has the backstory. Good. I hope it does. Corn Pope. Brittany and hubby were working on a documentary. Allegedly, there was a lot going on with the fact that she was super unhappy with knowledge that she had of, allegedly, her former boyfriend and his homeboy, the Diddler. Yeah, right. She was very close with Ashton Kutcher, and as this is not alleged, she was at a lot of Diddy parties back in the day. Right. She was sort of, that was when she was in her heyday and really killing it in Hollywood. Everybody, by the way, everybody that was killing it in Hollywood at that time was going to Diddy parties. This was the party to be at. Monk, good to see you. Shelly Kelly, what's happening? Glad you're here. These were the parties to be at. I know that we look at it through the lens of 2024, right? This is something that happens anytime something foul happens. Like we look back now and we look at interviews that Diddy did where he says some of the creepiest crap in the world. But back then, nobody went, ooh, what the hell did he just say? You creepy weirdo. What do you mean there are locks on the door to keep the women in? You creepy SOB. Nobody was saying that back then, right? Because it was just, it was kind of funny. This guy threw these crazy parties and there were tons of naked people there. Right, the Kardashians did shows where the mom, what's her name, the creepy Kardashian, I don't know, the Jenner, the woman, the matriarch of that creepy family. There's a show where she was talking about how she had been at a Diddy party and the daughter was like, "Oh, come on, everybody at those parties is butt ass naked." Imagine having that conversation with your mother. Sorry. God help us, man. Chris, there you go. Chris Jenner. Creepy. You can't tell me that woman doesn't give you the creeps. Or maybe you can. She gives me the creeps, man. Jordan Black. Is there a mod that can help Jordan Black? I am not smart enough to figure that out. I honestly, it's not my strong suit. Hello, Brandy Bradley. Yeah, there is. So there are so many things about this girl's death that don't make any sense. But the easiest part of this, right? The part that you got to come back to, you don't have to be a genius to realize that these people dying 5 months apart from pneumonia with anemia, right? That alone should just be, but then with complications of prescription medications and over-the-counter medications. You could have taken one of the autopsies and the other one, they interchangeable, other than the fact that one was a beautiful 32-year-old and the other was a heinous older man. Not a handsome guy either. I'm just saying, Anka, you should be proud. You know something? This is a little out of character for the boat, but we're going to do it anyway. This is for you, for being able to say, I never saw the Kardashian show, not a single episode, just preserving my brain cells from that garbage. Congratulations. That is completely, that's worthy of the lifeboat official participation trophy of the lifeboat, because they're a creepy group of people. I'm sorry, they really are. And I know I'm not trying to shame anybody. Honestly, if that's how you get famous, if it's the sex tape thing, I honestly don't care. But the family in general is just a creepy group of people. There's no way around it. They're super creepy. I don't know if you can tell, I'm getting into the holiday spirit here. You've had pneumonia twice? My goodness. We need thoughts and prayers for our friend here. We don't want you to get it again. I'm glad that you were able to knock it out, though. Tiffy Tiff, I'm glad that you're here just in time. Tiffy Tiff, just in time. Yeah, look, Chris Jenner, I'm sorry. All of the people in that family creep me the hell out. They do. I read this terrible thing once where they were talking about all of the market research that they do. They don't buy toilet paper until they figure out how it's going to affect their business. Tony Sooner, good to see you. You like that? I like that. It's there's something very festive about the whole Santa's hat thing. I stole one and I it's probably not the greatest use of the word stole. I managed to procure one my first year in prison for my last sentence. They had a little display up, and I managed to go and grab the hat, and it got through like 10 shakedowns. I managed to have it for years. Wow. Amoxicillin with clavonado de pas. Yeah, that stuff. Don't know the name in English. That's okay. We don't either. The good news is that you managed to beat it twice. We need you to avoid the third one because it's frightening stuff. I would imagine that she did. I don't know the answer to that, but I would imagine that she did. Usually people with that kind of earning potential, very often people with that kind of earning potential, just because they have managers and, they tend to insure their life against things, not necessarily even death, but something that would keep you from being able to work, because a 32-year-old actor has a lot of potential earning over the course of the remainder of their life. I would be surprised if there wasn't some insurance of some kind, but who knows? You never do. Can't stand reality TV. I don't blame you. Although, I guess this is, in its own way, I guess this is kind of a, I don't. Lisa Vining says, I have a bad cold in my chest right now. Going to the doctor tomorrow. Can we get some prayers for Lisa Vining? Lisa, I hope you feel better. That's a tough time of the year. I'm very happy to see that we're all coming together. This is we are early in the holiday season. We are officially into the month of December. It will be a month from today when we start to take our foot off of the accelerator. Through the month of through the holidays, right from Thanksgiving until the second day of January, every single year on the lifeboat we crank it up, and the reason is simply this: there's a lot of people that don't have family and friends around them this time of year, and it makes it hard. And the beautiful thing about this, the big red button and the ability to reach out to one another. It sounds hokey as hell, but when they were developing this whole interweb thing, this is really what they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be an opportunity for people from every walk of life to come together and say, let's look at what makes us similar, not what makes us different. And it doesn't get done enough. It really doesn't. And again, it probably sounds hokey, but we're going to do it. We do it every year this time of year, without apologies, and we're going to keep cranking it up. So I'm glad that you people are here. It means the world to me. You know what, Nicole? Well, then you've got us for the holidays. This was a hangover from prison. It really was. If you were to take a snapshot and look in any unit, you'd see 140 guys, right? And you'd see 140 guys in a very tight, small, little kind of echo system. So people are almost on top of one another. Everybody's talking, everybody's shooting the breeze, and nobody is connecting with one another in any way. It's just depressing. I think it's a healthy approach. It really is. And I'm proud of what we do here every year at this time. Brittany Murphy's death being investigated by a lot of people now because of the what's going on with Diddy. This, and I talked about this right from the very beginning, but this Diddy case has circles, right? Concentric circles that are getting bigger and bigger, and they're enveloping other stories. We might not have ever had a conversation about Brittany Murphy and what happened to her if it has not been for the Diddy case and the alleged Kim Porter book, right? Whether or not you think that book has anything to do with Kim Porter, what it has done is it's gotten a lot of people talking about Kim Porter, and it's got a lot of people talking about other individuals who were very close to the diddler, who either died or almost died from pneumonia. Cassie broke it open, didn't she, Bill? Didn't she? I did a video, and I wish it had gotten more views, because they never do when you do. But I had a picture of her face, and I just said, "This is what a hero looks like." And sadly, Brittany could have been that hero too. Allegedly, at the end of her life, she was doing a lot of talking about how, believe it or not, folks, she thought she was being poisoned. How's that? She was absolutely freaked out because she thought people were out to get her. And apparently she was right. It's so easy to step back and go, yeah, this guy Simon doesn't look right. Her husband is creepy, man. This dude's creepy. It's allegedly creepy. He told people he was dying. He was always saying that this was wrong with him or that was wrong with him. He was, and his relationship with Brittany was described by the people closest to her as very controlling and even cult-like. So as you start to deep dive this, you start looking and you go, it's got to be Monjack, right? This has got to be the dude. Why didn't he want her getting a friggin' autopsy? Why was that such a big deal? Because it was. This was a very big deal for that cat. Why? What did he have to hide? Because isn't that the first question? If somebody says, I don't want my significant other, my girlfriend, my husband, my wife, whatever, to have an autopsy, the first thing that you think is not, oh, well, that's normal. His reasoning, allegedly, was he didn't want her beautiful body cut up. I guess, right? I don't know. Thank God I've never had to experience that. I think they'll call what happened Brittany Murphy TV miniseries. I think it goes through her husband and apparent affair with her mom. Mom living quite well since both passed. There's going to be a lot coming out about this. There's going to be a lot coming out about this. And the reasons are, again, pretty obvious. This is making people take a look at the Brittany Murphy case. Her relationship with Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher's relationship with Diddy and Danny Masterson. When you start, like, what is my friend always says, back up, right? Don't look at it sort of myopic. Start backing up and looking at things from a distance, and you start seeing all of these crazy stories that sort of start coming together and, overlapping and transacting. And it's really kind of weird, man. It's really kind of weird. Only a guilty person would refuse an autopsy. I kind of get that. He didn't respect her body when she was alive, says Tampa B. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how all of this starts to look, right? Yeah, arsenic poisoning looks like pneumonia. Jonathan, you're right. And when the testing was done on her hair, right? And this was done by her father, Angelo Bertolotti. He paid to have some independent testing done, and they found 10 different toxic heavy metals in her system that were at levels far above what would be considered normal. Now you could say maybe it's from all of that hair product that she uses. That just sounds like such bullshit to me. I'm sorry. It just sounds so stupid. The age of Aquarius, the global awakening. Is that what this is? And the global awakening is being revealed. That is done in the dark will be revealed in the light. When the moon is in the seventh house. Sorry. And Jupiter aligns with Mars. Cooter by the lake. Remember, for 5 months, aren't autopsies mandatory in suspicious deaths? Why, you freaking cynic. What makes you think this is a suspicious death? Because she's 32 years old? Yeah, you're probably right. No, I think that they're supposed to be, but he was really tripped out on, I don't want my daughter, my wife, my wife's body mutilated. Yeah. Kutcher is some kind of common denominator, allegedly, or not. Ashton Kutcher's a piece of crap. Hi, guys. How y'all diddling? Well done, David Clark. Well done. So you see what he did there? How y'all diddling? look, Ashton Kutcher as a common denominator of just scumbaggery. We know for a fact that this guy went to pick up a girl he had been dating for allegedly a couple of weeks, right? When he gets there, he looks through the window and he sees what he thinks is red wine on the carpet. For whatever reason, after seeing the red wine on the carpet, he decided to leave. Now, where the red wine on the carpet was, which was blood, it wasn't red wine, you couldn't see that from any window in the house. In order for Ashton Kutcher to have seen that, he would have actually had to go inside. Now, this actually happens. This is not a bad script. This went on. He went to this woman's house. He walked inside, and then he went outside and he picked up his cell phone like any law-abiding citizen in the U.S. would do, and he called 911. No, he didn't. He called Danny Masterson. Danny, I just found my girlfriend's dead body. What should I do? And Danny Masterson, because he's a stand-up cat, said something along the lines, allegedly, this is what you're going to be known for the rest of your career. You're going to be the guy that found that body. Get the hell out of there. Go to the party that you were going to go to, right? Forget about it. Think I'm wrong? Call your agent. Made the next call. Called his agent. Allegedly. Whatever happened, he did not call the cops, right? That allowed the person that the cops knew who did it. They knew who did it. They knew that the Ripper was the Ripper. But without Ashton's help, that guy got to stay out for months, which meant more dead bodies. This dude was a serial killer. And Ashton Kutcher let him stay on the street longer. Ugly, right? That's just one thing. He also hung out with Danny Masterson. They used gamma hydroxybutyrate, allegedly, to take advantage of unsuspecting victims. Danny's doing 30 years in prison for it, 30 to life. Ashton is still on the street, right? He's still on the street. Now, allegedly, he's looking to get property in another country. Now, a lot of people have been reaching out to me since I did the video last night, and they're saying stuff like, hey, man, these places have extradition treaties. I'm not suggesting that Ellen DeGenerate is running to England to avoid prosecution. I think she's running to England to avoid the press, to avoid being harassed every time she leaves her house. Someone yells, Diddy, freak off, parties. He was on your show 17 times. What's up? I think that's what she's trying to avoid. It's not to try to get away from prosecution. I don't think anybody is suggesting that there's anything they can prosecute her for that we know of yet. Timmy Tiff thinks it was the mom. Timmy Tiff thinks it might be the mom. I'm willing to give that a look. I'm willing to give that a look-see. Why did Danny get 30 years to life? Sounds excessive. I didn't follow the case. The assaults were horrific. Horrific. When you read about what he did, you would understand. Honestly, I was wishing he was going to get more, but it may be because I had met the victims. But they were just horrific crimes. That required people to go and get medical care, and it's just terrible, terrible stuff. Kutcher established an international human rights organization with his Demi Moore DNA Foundation, later known as Thorn, Defenders of Children, works to address the sexual exploitations of kids. Yes, it does. It sounds good anyway. Unfortunately, the $18 million that they raised. Hey, Andrew the Heat Seeker Boyle, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. They raised $18 million, like $15 million of it went to pay the people that work there, which is not a great number in terms of how much of your cash is going to do what you set out to do. Regardless, they also were having a lot of problems. It was made to sound like it was this unbelievable technology, and really they just sort of licensed an app from Amazon to do what they were doing. It sounded like a great idea, and I hope that some people were helped. I don't know whether or not it actually happened, but it seems like so often, right? It seems like so often these people want to put one foot into the it's like philanthropy. They want to get close enough to what they really do so that they're somehow they look like they're doing the right thing when deep down we know that they're just a bunch of lowlives. I'm sorry, but it seems like very often these people find themselves around kids and around charities, and it just makes you want to. Your sister used to love Brittany Murphy and cried her eyes out when she died. This is going to sound, I was honestly very affected by her death, and not for the reasons that I was misinformed. For a really long time, I was under the assumption that she died of a drug overdose. I don't know how I got that. I really don't. Maybe it was just, when it happened or whatever, but I was not aware of the fact that she died the way she did. I remember just being really bummed out that I hate seeing people overdose on drugs. It's always a painful thing. And I was under the assumption that it was the Bolivian marching powder because she had problems with that earlier on in her life. Yeah, Renee Noel says, Danny is a serial artist. There are as many as 8 victims. Only 3 went to court. There was drugging and weapons involved as well. And and people who required stitches. And he's just one of the worst human beings that he needs a good cellmate. That's what he needs. A good solid white boy to live with him for a couple of months. You're right, Pete. A lot of the people that are proclaiming to be holier than thou are usually dirtbags who are involved in the same kind of stuff. Oh, Tiffy Tip, did you see the documentary already? I have not. Yes, this is painful as well, isn't it? Aaron Carter incapacitated while in a bathtub. He was very vocal about certain things in music and entertainment industry. Inc. His battle with substances. Another in a bathtub. It's oh, sorry. Yeah, that's so tonight, people on the lifeboat. It is Sunday. Surprised you didn't know that. On Sundays, we do night yard here on the lifeboat. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Brittany is a shame, Rachel. Here's the thing on this is what we're gonna be seeing a lot more of this coming forward. And I think this is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people, right? This is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but we're going to have to start making some uncomfortable decisions. Sadly, that's where we're at, isn't it? We need to know if Kim Porter was murdered. I'm sure it's very uncomfortable to think, that's my mom and we're going to have to take her back out of the ground. And, and I don't want my dad to be implicated in this. I understand why this is going to be very, very difficult for the kids, right? I understand why this is a nightmare for the kids. Nevertheless, justice is justice, right? And if Kim Porter was murdered, well, then I think we need to take a look at that, don't we? I think that's something that we really, you just can't let something like that fly, especially if the reason that we're going to let it fly is, well, it would be really uncomfortable for the kids. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I really am. I'm not trying to make the kids' life any worse. Nobody wants to make the kids' life any worse, but I don't think that anybody wants Kim Porter to die and to get no justice, right? We throw that word around, don't we? Justice is a big friggin' deal, man. It really is. It's a legit deal. And if there's anybody that deserves it, Kim Porter deserves it. I think. I know 2 people in certain Hollywood circles who have woken up in a car in a parking lot with full amnesia, no memory of who they were. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that. Tommy, good evening to you too, man. Welcome. Vixen, good to see you. Doing all right? Doing all right? Yeah, there are a lot of aimless souls. All in all, just another brick in the wall. The timing for Wendy Williams getting dementia when the Diddy thing was going on is odd to me too. I understand exactly where you're coming from. I really do understand. It does seem like it doesn't make sense, right? Night Yard takes place at 6:00 Pacific time. 6:00 Pacific time. Is there a way to prove Kim was killed? Laura Lou, there is. If they were to exhume Kim Porter's body, all right? I am in my 50s. I was born in 1970. If they were to exhume Kim Porter's body, they could take tissue samples from Kim Porter and test those tissue samples looking for particular heavy metal poisoning or poisoning in general. And I know people say, well, they should have found that. You have to be looking for it. Do you understand? There's things that you're not going to find unless you are specifically looking for that. For instance, for a long time, they used to use in other countries, they used to use nicotinoids, right? Like Roundup is a nicotinoid. It's nicotine used as a way to kill insects or whatever. But they could kill human beings with nicotine. Nicotine's a rowdy poison. And unless you're testing for what the nicotine level is, you would just go, yeah, he was a smoker. Yeah, there was nicotine in their system. You would have to test to see what that amount is. Very often with poisoning, if you're not looking for the particular chemical, right, then you're not going to be looking for it. You have to believe someone is poisoned in order to be looking for someone that's poisoned. You're 57 and 35 days, Mouse, still a young man. The Truth and Awakening is being uploaded into the ley lines through the good folk on this planet and reaching us all. The world is being healed in a positive way. Praise be to Jesus Christ and God. You know what? I do believe that no matter what you want to call it, we're starting to see a group of people that are saying, we're done. We're done. We've allowed this crap to go on for so long. We have turned a blind eye. We've allowed people with talent to be abused because they want to be, their particular skill set. In order to be successful doing what they do, well, they're going to have to get sodomized, right? Or they're going to have to perform oral sex, or they're going to have to do any number of things that some scumbag can arbitrarily put on the list as what you will have to do to be successful in this industry. What the actual heck is that? Right? It's pretty foul stuff, man. Hey, a can of yummy fish. I'll tell you something. That is Johnny Scoville's 600th challenge. Do you know that damn stroming fish we're gonna have to do again? It's awful, 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 awful. But that's all right. You know something? This is really interesting, isn't it? Because it's done a lot. How quickly they can get someone in to get them cremated. You know, I heard something, and I'm sure that you all heard it, because we all hang out in the same Diddyverse, do we not? Whether we want to admit it or not, we park it in the same Diddyverse. You probably heard Gene Deal, allegedly. Sean Combs ordered Kim Porter's coffin 2 months before she died. You heard this? This is what Gene Deal alleges. Gene Deal alleges that 2 months before Kim Porter died of pneumonia, Sean Combs ordered the gold plated casket that she was to be buried in. Tommy, will the federal inmates do to Diddy what he did to others? No. Probably not. That kind of assault, honestly, doesn't happen inside very often. It just doesn't. It happens a lot in movies, but you know what it means, honestly, like on the inside, if you're doing that to somebody, right? If you say, well, I'm gonna R-word this dude for what he's done, you have become an R-worder, right? There's no inside, honestly, at least among the white boys, there's no excuse for that, right? You just became that which is hated. So no, but he's not going to have a good time. His life's going to suck inside. And he's going to spend a lot of money first. Meredith Lynn, happy Sunday to you too. I hope you're having a great day. When the diddler gets to prison, he's going to start instantly trying to pay off people to keep him safe. He's also going to try to buy as much dope as he can possibly buy. Because if you've been addicted to opioids your entire life, quitting them in prison is the hardest thing in the world, right? What that drug does is it takes away pain. It takes away spiritual pain. It takes away emotional pain. It takes away physical pain, right? Okay. If you end up in prison and they take your liberty from you, the level of emotional and spiritual pain is unbearable. Night Yard is going to be 6 o'clock Pacific time. Check us out then. 6 o'clock Pacific time. So once he hits that yard, he's going to start paying people off in order to be able to stay there. That's just what happens with really rich people. There are going to be people that push up on him day one and go, hey, man, you looking to get safe? I can help you get safe. Question. What was the name of the program that I was on last night? I was on a program last night? Do you mean the Sean Atwood program? Cookie, I don't blame you. And I know a lot of people, I get a lot of emails that say stuff like this, that I can't stop crying, that this really is that this is overwhelming. And for so many people, the pain of watching this happen and watching it happen to people that, I mean, what was Brittany Murphy's crime, right? Just being beautiful and young and in the wrong place at the wrong time. Saw something. This is what is alleged anyway, right? What is alleged is she saw things that she wasn't cool seeing. And that was an issue. And it was an issue that may have cost her life. That's what is being alleged by a lot of people. Arwin says, forensic pathologists must check for each individual poison. Only panel is a common substance abuse panel. I know that for the federal system, there were 32. We had a 32 panel assay test. It was they tested for everything under the sun. Kathy Ann, good to see you. Amanda Bynes' case is heartbreaking. It really is, isn't it? I mean, you look at these people and you go, thank God she's still alive, right? Thank God she's still alive. I think a lot of us, I don't think that a lot of us are going to be surprised if we hear that she's not. And that's, how sad is that? Right? She's got, her face is tattooed. She just looks like somebody that, she looks like somebody that's really lost. And it's pretty sad, isn't it? Corn Pope says, I think that the silence from Hollywood is gross. It's also friggin' deafening, right? We understand this silence, yeah? Think about it for a second. Everybody's afraid to speak up because they're not sure whether or not Diddy's got dirt on them. They're not sure if by speaking up, they're going to be bringing heat onto themselves. Everybody in Hollywood is absolutely horrified. Now, are there some people that didn't go to any of these parties? There are. There definitely are. But the majority of people that were popular in the 90s were at these parties. Yeah, benzodiazepine withdrawal can cause death from seizures. So can alcohol. Those two drugs can. Yeah, you know, Bill Herrera says Amanda looks like Justin Bieber a little. Justin B. sad. Yeah. The problem becomes that we have We're complicit. I'm sorry, we are. Every one of us. We're complicit in this. When we don't stand up and say this has got to stop, then we're saying it's allowed to continue. At least, you know what? I can't speak for everybody else. I'm freaking complicit. I didn't do a thing. And I knew long before I started reporting on Diddy. I've been listening to Jaguar Wright for 5 years talk about Diddy and the things that he's done. For real. Jaguar's been talking about it for a half a decade that you could go back and see her talking about it. God only knows how long she's really been talking about it. But she's been talking about it out in the open for a half a decade. This, one of the questions I get more than any other question is, do you think this is going to change anything? Right? Do you think that we're going to go right back to business as usual? Because when the Weinstein thing happened, right, we went right back to business as usual. There doesn't seem to be anything that changed after the Me Too movement, does there? I mean, honestly, what changed? I would say this time, if is it going to change? It's going to change unless we drop the ball. I think we've got everybody's attention. I think that the world knows we're watching. I think the scumbag gatekeepers at the top that throw these parties and do all of these things, I think they know that they're being watched. I think that the days of being able to just sort of ride roughshod across any of this, I think those days are over. I really do. Sorry, folks. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm hopelessly optimistic, right? Maybe I'm stupid optimistic, and that this is just. But I think the difference between this and I think the difference between Epstein and Weinstein and all of those, we had one toe in the water. There's no way if Diddy ends up, unalived in his cell tomorrow, there's no chance that the Diddy verse won't blow an O-ring. There wasn't an Epstein verse. There really wasn't, right? All of that happened after he passed. There wasn't a group of people sort of waiting like this. We are a far more awake and involved group of people now than we've ever been. There you go. Well played. YouTube is helping to change, and I think Sherry nailed it. Now that we know children are involved, it stops now. And you know what? It has to. It has to. If it doesn't stop this time, right? It's on me and it's on you. It is. We're aware. We know there are kids involved. We know just how absolutely shitty this entire situation is. But for the first time, we have a whole new kind of media, right? For real. This social media stuff is completely different. The truth, the proof of it is that we're here right now talking about this, right? If you're watching the news at home and you're Jordan, you can't fire off and say there's too many politicians and other higher ups on those lists for it all to come out. Interaction. What we're doing right now is unique, isn't it? You don't just listen to the narrative of the guy talking. You can actually sort of weigh in. Now, Jordan, I agree with you. I really do. There are a lot of politicians. There are a lot of higher ups. There are people that are going to make it a more difficult pill for us to swallow. But there's no chance in hell we don't swallow it. We're at a point now where everybody has gotten the memo. The idolizing celebrities is done. The idolizing celebrities is done. The days of allowing this bullshit to go on is done. Lynn D says the politicians will skate, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to see as many politicians as you think. I believe that in the Epstein case, those were almost all politicians. I think you're going to see a sprinkling of politicians in this. It wasn't really that kind of crew. It wasn't. At least that's not how I see it. I see it as a very male-heavy These were rock stars and hip hop artists and sports, whatever you call them, heroes, sports stars, athletes, freaks with really large contracts. And you get drunk every once in a while. You do something, you end up on film, right? It's not that crazy. Yes, it is. If you're 6'7", you didn't just happen to have a French maid outfit laying around that fit you. You had to order that bad boy. Yeah, weirdo. Huh? King James, you freak. Look, I'm not king shaming you. You want to put on a French maid's outfit and rock out at a Diddy party? That's your business. Right? That's your business. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Just ask King James. That's all right. He's not going to hear. It's a small channel. I don't have to worry about him. I said allegedly, you big freak. That's all right. He's real popular with the that red country over there. I think he works for them full time, doesn't he? I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Pete did. Blame it on Pete. If you're going to send that hateful email, don't send it to me. Send it to Pete. How do short guys survive in prison? As long as a short guy's got good paperwork, he's got nothing to worry about. One of the things you really got to realize, and what you have to remember, is if you go into prison and what you've done that put you in prison is not offensive, right? If it had nothing to do with kids, if it had nothing to do with women, if you're not a great big rat, like if you got what they consider an honorable crime, you rob a bank, you go to prison. It doesn't matter if you're 5'2" or you're 6'5". No one's going to mess with you. You didn't do anything to be messed with. Now, don't be a jackass. Don't go in there and pick fights. Don't go in there and gamble with money you don't have. But it's not as ugly as you think in there. It really isn't. As long as what you've done is not considered offensive, no one's really treating you like crap in there. You're fine then? Good. See, yeah, no problem. And the other thing is, you'll run into a group of people. You'll never see a group of people that likes a bully less than the people you'll run into in prison. So if you're in there and you're a bully and you're picking on somebody or whatever, like Nicole, she's 4'9". If you were to pick on someone at 4'9", there's going to be somebody in there that's 6'5" that isn't going to be happy with you picking on someone who's 4'9". It's usually how that works. That can't be right. Hey, Brittany was 32 years old when she died, and it will be 32 years that she is gone. December the 20th. That can't be right. Can that be right? Somebody help me with that. Can that be right? Tina. So Brittany was 32 when she died, and you're saying she died 32 years ago? No. No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Am I that old? Brittany died in 2009. Yeah, that's not 32 years. See, you're playing with my emotions now at this point, Tina. You're playing with my emotions. It's all right. I'm going to let it slide this time. But I was told there'd be no math. And I'm one of those guys you can slide one of those by because my math's not good. No, I don't think that they're going to be. Hold on one second. So the prison response to bullying is pick on someone your own size. It's yeah, they're not fond of bullies in there. High-profile criminals usually keep to themselves, preferring to be isolated from the others. Ivan Boesky was in Lompoc when I was visiting there. He hung out close to the guards. Wow. He must have been at the low in Lompoc. I remember Ivan Boesky. A little insider trading stuff. 15 years ago, Brittany died. Gotcha. You hate math and you were a pharmacy tech. That's all right. We're going to let slide this time. Anka, there will be a lot more Tom Hanks coming up. I promise you. The whole Tom Hanks thing sucks. And I have been deep diving it. Why, thank you, Tina. It's good to be back. Brandy says she is 4'11". My mother is 4'13". Murphy's estate was worth $10 million at the time of her death. Her mother was the beneficiary. Brittany did have life insurance. The mother sued her son-in-law for the insurance, claiming he forged Brittany's signature. Well, he didn't have to do that for long, did he? Because 5 months later, old Simon met the same fate. What are the odds? Seriously. What about Tom Hanks, JR Girl? Well, Tom Hanks seems to be preoccupied with women who are under the age of consent. Herder of Goats, good to see you. Allegedly. Your mom is 4'11" and had 2 kids over 6 feet? Well, I'll be damned. Who's most popular in prison? I'm trying to think. You mean in terms of like anything in general? Women usually. Most guys are pretty fond of women. See, so one survived and wanted her money. Tippy Tiff, I'm going to be looking into it. I promise you. I'm just hoping that it's not one of those like 7 camera numbers. You know, I like documentaries that are 1 camera. It's a lot easier on my brain. Actually, I didn't totally suck at it. I made a lot of drugs legally. Well, there you go. I made a lot of drugs too. Not legally, though. Not legally. Paula Penley, good to see you. How are you? Is there any Hollywood star that isn't corrupt? Let's see, Lisa Vining. Let's see. Currently, who's not? I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be, but I'm still betting on Denzel Washington. I know that there are some people that say that that's not the case. I'm sorry. I deep dived that fool, and I just he's one of those people that does an amazing amount with has a ton of philanthropic stuff that he does, and he doesn't do it to get noticed. He goes out of his way to not get noticed. I just think he's a good dude, and maybe I'll get proven wrong. But yeah, I hope. See, Tara says, my hubby says Tom Hanks is a huge creep. Trust your husband. Trust your husband. I think that he's on to something. You got to trust him on this one. He did leave a dirty party because he was all set. Tippy Tip. I saw that one, right? I saw that. What about Pink? I got no dirt on Pink yet. Yeah, Allie Carter has said stuff about Denzel. The affidavit part, I guess I'll have to look at that. You know, the thing with an affidavit is a sworn statement, right? I don't know what MTF is. Now I feel stupid. What is MTF? Is that something I shouldn't have said out loud? I'm not very bright. What kinds of crimes are most respected, Laura Lou? I got you. Anything that has to do with making money and doesn't have a victim that's a kid or a woman. So robbing a bank is a good one. Dealing drugs is a good one. Those kind of things, right? Crimes that inmates consider victimless. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. I know that. You know that. But stuff that they consider victimless crimes. Male to female. Okay, there we go. So Pink was a guy that turned into a woman? You're kidding. That can't be right, can it? That can't be right. You know what, though? There's a lot, that's a big thing these days. Jasmine, I heard this too, right? I've heard that story that Denzel left the party because the stripper had to go to the bathroom. I have heard that. And I am, again, and I'll say this, I think that you can say, I have some questions without saying, I don't believe the person has been victimized. I have some questions. I got a lot of questions that I wish I could get answered. Gail says, Denzel is a creep, in my opinion. There's, Nicole says, not true about Pink. I tend to, there are videos of her as a little girl. See, Tippy Tiff says, there you go. There's videos of her as a little girl. Yeah, I always kind of liked her music a little bit. Oh my God, did everyone know that Megan Fox has an Adam's apple? I did not know that Megan Fox had an Adam's apple. I had no idea. I probably could have been just as happy to not know that she had an Adam's apple. Jim Neighbors was an authentic good guy, apparently. The Williams sisters? The Williams sisters. I don't know who that would be. Jasmine, I'm not mad at you. We could use a little levity from time to time, right? We could use a little levity from time to time. Well, golly. Oh, and it starts. That's how it starts. And then it just unravels. All right. Now, here's my promise to you. Here's my promise to you. I'm really going to try to chase down. Oh, those Williams sisters. I gotcha. He says Serena and Venus were on the Trans World Sports in the 90s. They were both men. I'll be damned. I did not know that. I did not know that. One of them kind of looked like one. Just saying. Don't yell at me. Send me hate mail. I'm just saying. I got some hate mail yesterday because I said someone's feet look like they might stink. And just an opinion. She might have had stinky feet. Always check the belly button, says Mouse. Okay. Once again, I had no idea. I want what Pete is on, says Kim. See that? I want what he's having. That's actresses always have dirty feet. Don't say that. Don't say that. Please, don't say that. Yes. Yeah, it's getting out of hand. No wonder they're all hot. It is. It's getting out of hand, and I'm adding to it. For that, I apologize. What does the belly button mean? Your surgeon decides the tie. I had no idea. I'm following along. Hold on. All right, people. I'm going to chase down. I'm not kidding. I want to know about Denzel. I really do. So I'm telling you right now, this is he's going to be in the crosshairs. I'm going to chase down Denzel Washington, and if Denzel is a dirtbag, then we're going to find out about it. But yeah, sometimes. Yes. Okay, we'll. I'm going to keep you up to speed, people. I promise. I promise. Oh, Jasmine says, "Ask Jag. She knows everything." Well, that's not nice. Look at what you did there. I'm kidding. It's funny though. I get it. Da, 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 da. It's always a fun day, peeps. It's always a fun day. I do appreciate you spending a little time with me, and I'll see all of you a little bit later in the day. Between now and the next time I see you, do me a favor. Reach out and try to save somebody, all right? All right, folks. Hold on one second. That's almost the news, and I'm out of here. That's almost the news, and I'm out of here. All right, people. I will see you on the next one. Between now and then, seriously, though, reach out and try to save somebody, all right? Bye-bye, and make it one hell of a Sunday, would you please? There you go. There you go. There you